Hey, what's up, North County? I'm your host, Randy Doty, and today we are talking about the California Mid-State Fair Industrial Arts and Auction coming up here July 17th with Ron and Blake. And you guys have been doing this for a minute, right? This
Well, Blake has.
This has been going on for, what'd you say,
This is our 29th year.
29th year.
This year. We started out, Randy is a small family-owned welding supply company. A&R Welding Supply was asked to step up and take over the Industrial Arts Project and Auction Program at the fair. And we had to kind of learn about it, learn the history of it. And it goes back really to when the fair first started, is that some of the farmers and ranchers' children came to the fair with things that they built on the ranch or the farm. And these kids kind of put them up to be judged against their peers. And it grew for a while, and then it kind of became stagnant. And then we were asked to take over for someone in the community that had said, I think I've taken it as far as I can, and maybe we need some new blood. And we stepped in as A&R, and I was able to get involved with it and bring it into kind of a new age of bringing in some sponsorship and some recognition from our industry, which was the welding and fabrication industry. And we also wanted to make sure that we included the kids that were interested in drafting, also in working with wood projects. I started with a gal named Judy Rose, and Judy Rose mentored Debbie Twisselman, who Debbie Twisselman is still, we consider her the godmother of this program. She's been doing it forever with her husband Joel, and I was fortunate enough to start with Debbie. And the first year that we did it, Randy, we had it on Cattleman's Day, and there used to be a lunch and a dinner on Cattleman's Day. And we came in after lunch, and I think we had maybe 10 projects, and they were all really small projects and just maybe little hibachis and boot cleaners and things like that. And we were excited because we got $1,500 for the kids. Well, last year we had 65 projects, plus or minus, and we brought in close to $300,000 for the kids.
That's amazing.
So we have grown exponentially over the years. We have had so many great kids that have come through this program. We're in money that we've raised, we're at about 1.5 million, and what we've given back to these kids. In prizes, as far as value is concerned, we're at about 100,000, what we've done. And gosh, we get such great participation from our sponsors, our donating sponsors. Of course, Airgas, and this year we're really, really excited to have PRW Steel and Supply on board as an associate sponsor. They're really stepping up. But we have industry sponsors, Lincoln and Miller and Hypertherm, and so many other companies that donate great prizes. And these are prizes that the kids, the student fabricators as we call them, actually enter a project into the fair. They determine whether it goes on to auction or not. They kind of make that determination before the project is judged. It's judged by members of the fabricating and welding community for a number of different things, as far as what they're looking at for completeness, for the quality of the weld, the uniqueness of the idea. And then what we do is we have first, second, and thirds that we award to different classes throughout what the project auction is all about. And it's steel, it's combination wood and steel, and it's wood, and it's drafting, and it's also coupons. And so what we do is if it's a first or second place, we allow them, if they choose, to go on to the auction. And the auction is just like a livestock auction. They put it up on the auction block, and they're allowed to kind of set a floor for it. And then if the floor is achieved, it's raise the roof on what some of these projects bring. And I'll tell you the neatest thing, and I'm sure Ron will agree, is that we'll have somebody that puts something up for auction, and they have no idea what they're going to get for it as far as money is concerned. And you see it go past what they thought that they were going to get, and then it goes to another level, and they end up making quite a bit of money, and you just see that smile get bigger and bigger and bigger, and the
Great
pride.
community support.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We have wonderful community support. We're doing some real exciting things going forward this year. We're bringing in some new blood, Ron Alves and Justin Pickard.
Well, Blake, let me stop you there. Let's
Sure.
talk. Let's talk. So, Ron, so you're with Paso Robles Welding and Steel, right?
PRW Steel, correct.
PRW Steel, which is on
Union Road.
Union Road.
Yep.
So this is your guys' first year of being involved with the project auction?
No, this is our first year as a corporate sponsorship.
Okay.
We've the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years,
Probably going back 10.
10 years, we've been a sponsor, but never to this caliber. This year we are
Gotcha.
teaming up with Airgas as corporate sponsors. So great opportunity for us. We support the kids at a discount price when they purchase the material to build the projects. So those kids are our future customers, right? And so we start at a discounted price, and that's our participation on a lot of it to get them started. So yeah, we're excited this year to be a corporate sponsor with teaming up with Airgas.
Yeah, because I know you guys are. Because like I said, I know when my boys went through the auction, because not only for the project auction, you guys also do stuff like because the school Paso, Templeton, Atascadero has their own, FFA project auctions, and I know you guys have always been really good with the kids and the support and helping them along the way. Still, for a minute, I don't know if it's still in there, but it
goes
kind of
up and
went
down, yes,
kind of went a little crazy.
Yes.
But yeah, no, like I said, you guys have like plasma cutters to where you guys can really get some of that detailed stuff for the kids' projects.
And we offer that to the kids. We've offered to some of the students to, they have this unique idea, and we have some of the equipment that can provide the completion of that. And after hours, we've invited them in to roll a piece of pipe because they want this certain shape. Gives them opportunity to see how it's done, so that when they're at the auction and they're sharing how they fabricated this project to a potential buyer, they have the knowledge of this machine is, it rolled it had the dies, and I helped set up the dies, and so it gives them the knowledge of sharing with that potential buyer. Like I said, how did you make that? And it just gives some depth into their project instead of just cutting and welding something. So yeah, we do have a lot of different pieces of equipment for the individuals to sky's the limit on their thoughts.
Because it must be awesome for you. Because I mean, obviously, this was your passion. High school to college, out after work. Whatever your path, wherever that took you. But it's all down. The welding side, the fabrication side. Now you run PRW, correct?
Correct.
And so now you see these kids to where we are kind of moving into this technology world, this era of this push for colleges, and like, oh, if you don't go to college, you're not you can't do anything. And so it's probably nice for you to see these kids, and so many kids in this area like to do some welding. They'd like to get their hands dirty.
Oh yeah, yeah. I believe that not everybody, as Blake has shared this many times, students are prepared or designed to have to go to college, and this little program here, we call it kind of a CTE program. It allows these students to do hands-on. They get real excited, like, wow, I could make something, and then the opportunity to sell it and have some money that they made with it. They're like, wow, I wouldn't mind doing this for a living. And so it just opens opportunity for actually do the project, see what it is to make it, and then the reward at the end when you sell it, especially with the auction that we provide.
We talked about, like, my boys. I got 2 twin boys. One's in college. One just graduated college, 5 years in college, and one is in the pipe fitters union. One didn't like school at all. He just did the bare bones just to, so he could graduate and play football. That was his other passion. So, and the other one, had the smarts, He's the one that we knew were going to go to college. The other one, we didn't know what was going to go on. But he went through the program, the welding program at Cuesta. And then afterwards, went into Diablo. And so he was a worker. But now he's with the Pipe Fitters Union. And, in 3 years, once he gets done with that, he's going to have his journeyman. He's going to be set, 401, union. He is good to go. Yeah. Now the other one just graduated. Now the wheels, have to start turning to figure out now what, But there's so many different kids that are just like that, here, that they might not like the school stuff, but they like to work. They like to get their hands dirty. They like to get dirty. Whereas the other ones, they want to do the school. So you guys are a big advocate for that kind of stuff, huh?
Well, I call it lighten the bulb. You find that student's passion, and we have so many success stories that have gone through these programs. We have the children of people that I gave prizes to, their parents, that have now gone and...
This is your 29th year?
This is the 29th year.
Okay. Wow.
So I have these student fabricators that come up to me and say, you gave my dad a prize when he was in high school doing this. And I start talking to them about what their dad did, and then it transfers to what they're going to do. And what's really impressive, Randy, is when you go down and you're on the auction floor and you're talking to these kids, they've got it together. They know what they're going to do. They know where they're going to go. And it's so, I don't know, it gives me faith in this generation that's coming up, that they're driven, and that they are goal-oriented, and that they have a plan for what they want to do. I tell each and every one of these kids that you're putting a skill in your back pocket that you'll have for the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. You will always have this skill. You won't forget how to do it. I am certainly not a welder fabricator by any means at all, but I can go in my garage and I can lay down a bead. And that goes back to when I learned something in high school. And I had a great instructor. We have great instructors in the North County at all of the high schools. In fact, all of San Luis Obispo County. We have great instructors, especially in the welding and fabrication end of things. You look back and you see how many skills and how many FFA championships we've had, individual and team championships. Ron's son is one of them. Ron's son has gone to the next level with his competition when he was in the FFA welding team. And that's through the direction of these instructors. And if we lose these classes, once these classes go, we're not going to get them back, because they're going to say those funds are going to be redirected over here to another program. So that's why we continue to push CTE, we continue to push programs like the FFA to make the community aware that these are going to be functioning members of our community, of the world community, to be able to say, when the old guys are tired, these guys are going to climb down in the ditch and be able to do it. And now we're seeing more and more technology being integrated into what now is coming into the classroom. These pieces of equipment now, you've got to know your stuff as far as setup is concerned, as much as striking the arc. And in talking today with Debbie Twisselman about some of the potential entries that we've got that are coming in, there's some really exciting stuff where these kids are
I've
bringing
seen a few of them. They look pretty. Pretty exciting.
They're bringing in technology. They're bringing in welding and fabrication. They're bringing in woodwork, working with those tools, everything else, and they make. I always say it's a one-off. There's not going to be another one like it in the world. I tell people, if you come to the fair and you don't want to buy anything in the livestock, come over and buy something from us, because what you're getting is unique. There's not another one like it. It's going to be something that probably could fit in your backyard, could fit in a tasting room, could fit in the front of a building as far as where your business is. They're attention grabbers. They generate interest and conversation, and they're really, really cool just to look at and say, how did he come up with that? you know, and with all of the different social media that's out there, Pinterest and YouTube and TikTok and all these things, these kids get these ideas and then they make them their own.
Oh yeah.
You know, they just put their
With their
little
own
twist on
twist
them.
and
You know, and it's so freaking cool to see these kids do this, you know, because they're as enthused as we are watching them build them. And then the person in the community that buys that, you know that they have a sense of pride that they helped that kid on his journey. You know, it's so much.
So we're talking about June 17th, the California Mid-State Fair Industrial Art and Auction that's happening at the California Mid-State Fair. Now so walk me through this, Blake. So the projects are there. Well, the fair starts the 16th. The
Right.
date. So you only get really one day. How come? Why wouldn't you guys like try to do it the next week so that way people
Well-
get to walk through and check these items out?
Going back, again, with the history of this was always tied around Cattlemen's and Farmers Day.
Okay.
Because we feel that's integral. A lot of these kids are not only involved as student fabricators, but they're also, they've come up through the 4-H program, the FFA program. And we've always just enjoyed that tie-in because
Makes sense.
we have a captive audience, if you will. The folks that now are coming in early for the Cattlemen's Dinner Barbecue, they're showing up at our auction earlier in the day because they want to bid on something. So that's why we've always kept it there. The projects are on display through the run of the fair. They're static. We're kind of excited this year. We're moving out of where we were in the Central Coast Barns and building, and we're moving over to a different area that's going to give us a little bit more open air room.
Which is over by Jimmy's,
Yeah,
right?
it's over by
So
Jimmy's.
so you're because you guys were the furthest. You guys were at the very end of the
Yeah,
end.
yeah.
Right.
I don't want to say we're the redheaded stepchild of the fair, but we're starting to kind of get rid of that stigma and move into the main interest of why some folks come to the fair to see things. We've had some changes in the management of the fair, and we have people really that are on our side now and want to help us make this program grow. So one of the things that we did was we are moving over to one of the a previous open air kind of retail area, and we're going to move not only our industrial arts project and auction items, but we're also going to have the JB Dewar tractors over there in the same area.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to have a lot of great things in a small area, and then our auction is going to be over we were in the Edna building for a while, and now we're moving back across the aisle over to kind of by the livestock, not the livestock, what's that?
Livestock
the shell
entrance.
gates. The shell gate they used to call it.
Livestock entrance.
It's going to be there. We have a terrible problem in that we don't have enough seating. And a lot of grandmas and grandpas come to this, and we want to make sure that grandma and grandpa are comfortable because it's a long afternoon. And as we all know, it can be a hot afternoon. So we want everybody to be able to sit down, be comfortable, get ready for this ride, because it runs about 3 or 4 hours by the time that we give away the prizes.
So this
and
happens during the Cattlemen's Dinner?
No, this is the prelude to the Cattlemen's Dinner. So
Okay.
the preview will be at 11.
Okay.
The auction's going to be at noon.
Okay.
And we got 65 items to get through. So we have a great auctioneer, Rick Machado. He gets up there and he gets the crowd engaged, and we move through every item pretty quickly. But it still will be ending right as the Cattlemen's Day barbecue begins. So that's a great lead-in for us. It's a great lead-in for them. And it's a feel-good afternoon.
Well, you even mentioned 65 items. I mean, we have 100 and
Entered, we have, I think,
Entered,
120.
20.
And through this, they call it the sift, or the way that from the judges looking at first, second, and thirds, and if you're a third, or unfortunately some of them are less, they're not going to be able to go on to the auction. We try to take kind of the cream of the crop
Right.
and move that on to the auction. And if there's some of these kids that win a first or a second place, they've already got it sold to somebody else, or it's going to stay in the family or something like that. So not every
not every project is auctioned off. It might just be for their own.
Right.
They built this, but they want to win,
Right.
buckle.
And-
Do you guys do buckles and
Oh yeah,
all that
we
stuff?
have. This year we're really expanding. We've got a lot of really great, different buckles that we're giving away for the different classes. We have the best in show.
Okay.
And then we're also going to have wood, drafting.
I think there's 5, if I
Five.
recall.
And we've never had that many before, and we have, again, great folks that have stepped up in the community to sponsor these buckles, and they're beautiful buckles. But I'll tell you, the best in show has really become a peer group pressure type of thing to win, because you win that buckle, you've got bragging rights for a year.
Yeah.
You're not only going to get that really great prize. It could be a MIG welder. It could be a nice welding helmet. Could be a lot of different things, but you get that, again, one of a kind buckle, and that buckle is yours to brag and show off and everything else to all your buddies and the guys that thought that they were as good as you. You get to brag about that for a year, and it's yours for the rest of your life. You don't have to give it back or anything. It's yours. And it's really become a really a neat kind of just something that we weren't counting on this taking off like this.
Well, Ron, I would think that this would be a good foundation for you to almost kind of cultivate your employees, to where, you meet these kids that you may or may not have seen their work, to where now you can kind of start talking with them and, maybe try to pull them into PRW, right?
Yeah, and we have done that. We do have currently 2 last year graduates from Paso High that are actually employees of ours now, full-time. So, like I said earlier, we not only have the opportunity to initiate a new future customer, but to add to it, yes, we have had the opportunity to have great young men that really want to be a welder or a fabricator and come to work for us. So yes, that too has been
That's very.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's a great place to, it's like going to an event on the weekends, a wine fest or something like that, to where all the wines are there. You don't have to go out and go find them. They're all right there, and so then you can pick and choose.
To take off a little bit more on what Ron has said is that we have a number of the local businesses that come to this, and you've got the tank companies, you've got 3 or 4 different fab companies in the area. They all come to this, and they're looking at, like you just mentioned, potential employees. That again, these young student fabricators, whatever their direction is, this is an interview for them, almost as you look at it. And what we encourage with the preview the hour before is that you get to go in and you get to talk to this young student fabricator about what they did. Why did they choose this? Why did they build this? What was the process of it? How much money did they have into it? And again, you'd be surprised how much these kids want to tell you about what they've done.
Oh, they might tell you the whole from A to Z.
Exactly. And again, as I'm saying, for some of these guys, it's an interview. Because you get these people that, I'm thinking about hiring somebody like you. Tell me about you.
how they present themselves.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Well, you think about the fabrication side of it, right? Just in the last 10 years, you've seen this monster rocket of Diesel Brothers. They're fabricating all these different vehicles and side by sides and fun crane things. You've got all these different shows that have some sort of what was it? The choppers where they fabricated
Orange County choppers.
Yeah, that was years ago, but that was like that fabrication to where now we're taking this welding, we're busting up, we're making our new we can't buy it, we'll make it. And to where kids nowadays, they really see that as like it's not so much I have to work hard. It's like, yeah, I want to work hard. I want, to
I
be
wanna make
grungy.
that.
I want to have that big
Yeah.
welder in the back of my truck with my diesel stacks, driving by. I want to be that guy.
He sent me something, I don't know, a couple months ago on our Facebook, and it's a little kid that's got one of these little pedal cars, and it's a truck. And I told him, I said, the only thing that's missing is a portable engine drive in the back. He needs to have that, start getting into it. But one of the things we were really excited about, two things, is we tried to get him to come this year, and it just didn't work out. But Mike Rowe,
Okay. Dirty Jobs.
yeah, Dirty Jobs. He's really, really excited about this kind of stuff, and it just didn't work out for us to connect the dots to be able to have him to come. But we do have, it's called the Fab School down in Southern California, and they're on the West Coast, one of the preeminent fabrication schools that's out there for when you get past your high school fab shop classes, welding classes, Questa, you go to this place and you really dial in what specialty you want to deal with. If you want to go into CAD CAM, if you want to go into off-road racing, if you want to go into structural, all this stuff. This place is probably 2 acres of just nothing but classes for fabrication and welding. And they
hands-on too.
Yeah, very, very hands-on,
Very hands-on.
absolutely. So we got contacted by them to come up and get involved in our program.
Oh, nice.
So we're making inroads. We've had other fairs contact us and say, how have you grown this program? How do you do this and everything else? So we're really so proud of what this.
29 years, Blake.
Well, it's been 29 years of it's never been hard. It's always been so enjoyable because we grow and we grow, and we have these people in our community, which is, you know how it is with What's Up North County, with all the great people that you have in here. We're very blessed.
Yes.
We have these people that step up and say, how can I help? What can I do to make this better? And people like Ron, he doesn't toot his own horn enough, but he's been integral in getting these FFA dinners going and being so successful and everything else, and getting awareness of what these programs are, and that tails over to what we're doing with the fair, and it's all about just giving the kids a leg up. We want to see that these kids have every chance to excel when they get out, that they make something of themselves when they go out in the real world. And if we can do that by having them enter something in this auction and them getting a prize, and they take off on their own journey, man, we've won.
Yeah.
Blake, what's the biggest project that a student has ever brought to the industrial arts auction?
We've had some mammoth equipment trailers, 2 and 3 axle equipment trailers, flatbed trailers. We've had some huge bars, like bars.
Made out of metal or wood?
Both.
Okay.
Like entertainment bars, to set in your backyard for having a party or something like that. That have barbecues and refrigerators and sinks and everything else hooked up into them. Was it last year or the year before, the horse trailer that was the
Couple years ago, yeah.
We had a horse trailer. It was converted into a beverage car, where you could set up, and it had all of your CO2 set up, all of your draft heads, everything else that you could set up and tow it to a party and be dispensing alcoholic or adult beverages, I should say, out of it.
Now, Ron, have you ever seen a project and you just look at it and go, wow, where did this idea come from? Like, you were just completely floored.
Yes, there's, as Blake shared earlier, there's so many views out there of Pinterest and, these different, internet programs that offer these different ideas. And some of these kids grab them, and I'm like, how did you how did you figure this out? You know, last year was a cart that was a ice chest, and
Oh, I saw that
and-
one.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and I'm like, did you buy this? You know, and the student was like, no, this is how I formed it. I bent this pipe and I, you know, coped this, and I'm like, and you're a junior? You know, just
So the kids have to
incredible.
give you like progress.
Yes.
So that's part of, I would assume, everything too, the progression of where you're starting, not just the final project. Because you said, did you buy this? And, you know, because
Well, one of the criteria of the instructors throughout the school year is to give them a challenge to build something for the fair or the FFA dinner or both. Okay, and they pretty much have to have kind of a build sheet and ideas and everything else that they're taking back to their instructors and getting them to sign off and approve on, so that the instructors are aware of where this is going. And sometimes it's done in the shop at school there, and sometimes it's done off-site. And you know, the big thing is that it's not a surprise on the day of that it's supposed to show up at the fair to be entered and judged. So it starts out in September, and the instructors say, look, the fair is in August, and we'd sure like to see you build a project for this year. It's not mandatory, but throughout the years, these kids are seeing how much money they can make. And, you know, one of the things that Ron and I always talk about is that bigger isn't always better. We like to see big projects. There's nothing wrong with it. But when you build a big project, you've kind of narrowed the people that are going to be interested in buying that project. And sometimes it ends up being grandma and grandpa or the family that buys it back. And so that kind of skews things. So what we like to see are kind of just more smaller, out-of-the-box type of things, like the horseshoe sphere that I think I sent you a picture of.
Oh, yeah,
That was
we had that on
crazy.
there.
It's huge.
Yeah, right
and,
there.
You know, yeah, I mean, that's amazing.
So
that-
who bought that and what?
Well, I can't, right now I couldn't tell you who bought it. We do, when they are bought.
I see that at a winery, like at like Algretto or something like that.
Yeah.
Just
When it's sold, it's tagged so that through the run of the fair, you know who bought it, who fabricated it, who bought it, and for how much. So that's great because the community gets to learn what local businesses or families bought them or anything. But, you know, when we get to projects like those where they're really one-off, those type of things, those are the ones that go for the crazy money.
Right.
Because everybody says, man, you know what? I want that, and I want that in my, again, winery, business, backyard, whatever. My favorite thing is that 10 or 15 years ago, we had a young man from Shandon, and he built a life-sized elk. And he built that elk out of odds and ends that were on the family ranch. And so there was vice grips, and there was sprocket gears, and there were screwdrivers, and everything else. But when you look back and took it in, it was an elk. It was truly an elk. And this family was a great family out there in Shannon. Every kid in the family has gone on to college, and they're all wonderful kids. Parents are great people. The next year, we had one of the members of the family make a snake. And the snake he took out of a rasp file, and he heated it up, and he inverted it, and he built it into the shape of a rattlesnake. Okay, and it's about that long, and it looks just like a rattlesnake. Wow. And the scale and everything are all there. Well, that thing went for crazy money, and all he had in it was the cost of the file itself. So, you know, these kids that come up with these things, their profit margin is pretty crazy, because they're not putting a lot into it, but they're getting a lot back. But it's that one-off thing. So I went to that young man and said, you know what, I really like that. Make me one. So I have one sitting at my house right now. My wife says, you need to stop raising your hand at the auction, because I think we're up to 9 or 10 things that are throughout our our property that we've gotten from auctions. But I'm proud of every one of them that I have, because I know there's not another one like it in the world.
Each one has a story.
Yeah,
right?
and each one has a story.
That's awesome.
Each one has a story. And that's what's so fun about this afternoon, is it's the one day for me out of the year that I know that our community comes together and that we knock it out of the park.
Yep.
When we get that final tally at the end, and how we've seen it grow, Randy, I remember the first year we broke 100 grand, we were just like doing somersaults.
Yep.
And we thought, you know, the sky's the limit. People said, well, what do you think you're going to do next year? Are you going to do 150 or whatever? And I said, I don't care if we do 25. You know, the idea is that we want these kids to get involved and have fun, and it to be a good community day. And we've just grown. And when we cracked 200, then we cracked 250, and I think last year we were at 297 or something like that. I don't believe those numbers when they read them back to me. I'm so grateful, and I'm so amazed that.
Community support.
Do they tell you the numbers that day?
Yeah.
Like as soon as you're done?
Oh yeah.
Like as soon as you're done, you
we
announce
have
it?
We have a running total that we have. I can go to the gal at any time and say, where are we? And we'll say, like, at, you know, the halfway point or something, hey, we're at 200,000. Let's get 300 or wherever. And it gets the crowd going. It gets the kids excited. You know, we kind of bundle all of the really best in show and top prizes right into kind of the middle of the run of the fair, so that at the beginning, at the end, they're the projects that are a little bit different and unique. And then in the beginning, or at the middle of the fair, the people that are there get to see, okay, that's the project that won the top prize in the buckle. So that everybody is there, everybody can visualize what that young man or young lady built and what they won for it. So it's all a connect the dots thing.
Randy, you'd mentioned about projects. There's some big projects. I think I was told there's the
tree house.
Tree house that's
Yeah.
8-foot diameter at the base. So you're talking about big projects. Is there a houseboat or some kind of a boat?
Yeah, we have a boat of some kind.
I think you also have like a little bit of a beverage.
There's
coming
multiple
through, you
of
know,
those.
I think it was made out of a silo or something like
Silo,
that.
yep.
We have
yep.
barbecues. We have the jet stoves. We
We have
have
a trailer that is a sauna in it,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Or
a horse trailer
horse
sauna.
trailer sauna. I mean,
when
just
Debbie
some
told me that, I
unique
went,
projects.
what?
Big
Wow.
projects,
Yeah.
of course, but and then of course you have your barbecuers and.
But even those aren't normal anymore.
No.
I mean the touches that these kids put on.
Yeah, look at this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's from last year.
Yep.
That's one of our first prize winners.
I mean, some of these pictures that you sent over, Blake.
Yeah.
I mean, you just sit there and look at them. These look like, you know, these are coming from a factory. These are coming from,
Yeah.
you know, it's not like
The detail and
right. I
and
mean, you know,
quality of it.
dad, mom, you know, have influence. You know, they're helping out, but I know, you know, they're guiding their son or daughter to, you know, the project's yours. I will assist where need be, but for the most part, the project's yours. And some of these projects that they have are just amazing.
Amazing.
If we could just go back for a second, I just want to thank some of the buckle
Absolutely,
folks that
yes, sir.
for our medal best in show, we have the Twisselman Fernandez Construction. For our steel combo, we have Brander Enterprises. For our wood winner, we have Wyrick Lumber. For drafting, we have JB Drafting. And for our art project this year, we have the Bramlett family and Crone Construction. And for our sponsors this year, we have quite a few that I just want to make sure we get them in. Airgas, PRW Steel, Lowe's is a huge supporter of us, Coast Pipe, Miller Electric, Lincoln Electric, Hypertherm, Burton Industrial, Mike Fonts, Margarita Fab, and so many others that I'm sure I've forgotten, but not intentionally, but we will get them recognized on the day of the auction. We this year have, by having Ron and Justin Pickard from Cuesta College come in and get involved as coordinators, we've got new blood, we've got new ideas. we're going in directions that we haven't thought about before to get the word out. One of the things that always frustrates me every year, Randy, is that people say, now, how long have you been doing this and what day have you been doing it? And it's the same every year. We always do it on Cattlemen's and Farmers Day. It's the first Thursday of the fair. It may change by date, but it's never going to change by the day that we hold it on.
And Cattlemen's is always the second day.
Yes.
Second day of the year.
Second day of the fair. The run of the fair. Wonderful day there. I mean, and again, Ron's experienced it as well as I have. Is I said after the event, and then you go over to the Cattlemen's barbecue, and it's, you know, you've got 1,500 people there, and you have people coming up and singling us out to thank us for what we're doing with this program, and I deflect it back. I take a little bit of credit for, you know, getting this thing off the ground, but my gosh, this has been an animal that we've raised, a baby that we've raised from birth to maturity, and we're not done.
No.
By any means at all. We're not done. We're taking this in new directions next year. We're excited about what we're going to do, and can't spill any beans yet, but you know, we're just getting started.
Awesome. So, one last question, Blake. Once again, the event happens July 17th, the second day of the California Mid-State Fair, Cattlemen's Day at the California Mid-State Fair. Tell me again how the schedule rolls out for the 17th.
Okay, so we have a preview, which everybody can come in. The
Which
gates
is at
open.
11?
The gates open especially early that day.
Okay.
So you can come in if you say you're here for the auction. They will let you in.
Free entry, or do they pay?
It's with your entry to the fair.
You still have to pay to get in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. The preview is at 11 o'clock. And that preview is you're allowed down on the floor. You can touch, feel, talk to the student fabricators, you know, search out any of us if you want questions about the program answered, anything like that. Then at noon we begin the auction, and there will be approximately 65 to 70 items going up on the auction block. It goes fast. We have previews. The fair Facebook will have a list of what the items will be up for auction. We'll know what's up as far as that's concerned.
And is the auction, is the bidding only on premises?
Live auction.
So it's not online?
Yeah, not
Okay.
online. It's live auction.
Okay.
Credit card, I believe, Venmo, I don't know if they do that.
It's the same thing as they have for the livestock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Criteria.
You sign up as a bidder when you show up. You get a bidder's card. Go get a seat in the stands and enjoy the afternoon. And then you know, if you're lucky enough to have a ticket for the Cattlemen's and Farmers Cattlemen's dinner, used to be Cattlemen's and Farmers Cattlemen's dinner, you just
Which have sold out the last several years. So if you're interested in that, I would recommend to get it sooner than later.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the day. And then the projects are on static display in that area for the rest of the fair, with again a tag that says who built it, who bought it, and for how much. And then within the week after the fair is over, they're gone.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So the projects come in on the 7th. So it gives us plenty of time to get them judged and set in their location that they'll be at on display. So between the 7th and the 16th is when that gets done, and then of course the fair opens on the 16th, and this auction is on the 17th. So we have a week or so to get all the items located,
ready.
get them ready for
Awesome.
the show, basically.
Debbie
Exactly.
Twisselman does a great job of setting up everything as far as, you know, getting it on the floor of the display area, and then there's an army of people that move those over to the sale ring, and then move them back and get them staged again. You know, Debbie and Joel are, like I said, the heartbeat of this program. We could not do it without them. They have been so great with volunteering their time. They're all over that fair if you know them, but Debbie has taken this under her wing, and I've been so fortunate to work with her for the 29 years, and then bringing in the new people like Ron and Justin. And we also want to say this wouldn't be happening without Airgas. Airgas has been a huge corporate sponsor of this. Robert, the branch manager here in Paso Robles, is doing a great job with what he's doing and the vendors that he works with. One of the biggest draws for the kids to enter into this is that they know that they've got a chance at winning a really cool prize. And so that's a big draw to them. So we thank Airgas and what they've done for the 29 years and before that A&R Welding to get this off the ground.
Awesome. Well, gentlemen, I appreciate you guys coming on, and like I said, I'm excited. I want to go check this thing out. I want to go on the 7th. When the projects start coming in.
Covert.
Just start checking this out because it's a really
early
awesome,
bird special, huh?
100%.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's a ticket. You sell a ticket, early bird specials.
And if you're a student fabricator out there that's going to be entering in this, you need to get your buyer letter out. You need to get on Facebook. You need to
promote that.
You need to promote that project so that everybody knows what it is and everybody knows what your expectations are. And this is a great way to get out and have it be known. There's no reason why you can't promote that thing up until the 11th hour.
Yep.
So
starts on the 16th, so we're on the 1st, so we still have like 2 weeks. So maybe we can get some of the kids in and to talk about their projects.
Yeah, we might kind of like herding cats.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, we do that with the pageant girls, but Patty's got them dialed in pretty good.
Yeah.
Well,
these students are working on these projects, I'll tell you, till the last minute.
I bet. Night before, morning of.
It comes in tacky and everything else, and of course they started it about a month ago.
Yeah.
They had from September.
Right.
But
it's last minute.
But
Let's put something together.
Ago. But some of them have been year round on this thing, and it shows. And boy, I just can't be prouder of what our instructors are doing and what these students are doing.
Awesome.
But we could reach out and see if there's one or two that maybe.
Yeah, maybe we'll touch back in and have you guys down like the week, like on that Monday beforehand.
Just kind of see where you guys are at. Instructors with
Perfect. That would be great. That would be great.
Perfect.
Awesome,
Randy,
gentlemen.
We appreciate
Thank you so
time.
much for having us.
Thank you.
Oh, 100%. Like I said, our platform is your platform. It's like bringing the eyes and the ears to, like I said, just like this, the project auction. How many people go to the ones, Tasker, El Paso, and Templeton, and it's packed, that forget about what's happening there at the California Mid-State Fair. So,
we really appreciate it.
Awesome, guys. Well, thanks for coming on. Looking forward to some more projects and meeting some of these kids. So, awesome.
Okay.
Well, there you have it, guys. Hey, make sure if you guys aren't doing anything, July 17th, okay, get down there to the California Mid-State Fair. You got the industrial art auction going on. These kids make some amazing projects. Okay, just be looking out here on What's Up North County. We're going to be rolling in some of the projects and some of the pictures that these kids are making and are going to be auctioning off on July 17th. But as always, guys, we can't do this without you and our sponsors. We'd like to thank Esclar Wine Travelers Hideaway, Visit Atascadero, 805 Customs, MGP Coatings, North County Junk Removal, Trailer Barn, Story Termite Pest Control, Borhone Auto Center, Kennedy Club Fitness, Airflow Filter Services, and Premier Ag. Thanks again, guys. We'll see you next time.
Hi, this is Dave Story, small game hunter with Story Termite and Pest. We're a full-service termite and pest control company. From rodents to termites, we can take care of all your pest control needs. Call today, we can tailor a pest control program that will meet your needs and budget. Contact us at 805-460-0650 or at storytermite.com. Remember, we don't have customers, we have friends.
Are you tired of looking at that worn-out concrete garage floor, patio, or porch? Look no further than MGP Coatings, where customer service reigns supreme. Our team goes above and beyond to ensure your satisfaction every step of the way. Before we even start coating, we meticulously repair your concrete, ensuring a flawless finish that lasts. And here's the best part. Our Pentec coatings are 4 times stronger than epoxy, so they won't chip or peel, making maintenance a breeze. Plus, they come with a limited lifetime warranty. Call us today at 805-952-5301 or check out our Facebook and Instagram and experience the MGP coating difference. Don't wait. Transform your garage, patio, porch, or driveway and become a part of the MGP coating family.
What's up, North County? This is Teresa Branch with Airflow Filter Service. We are a family-owned business right here in the North County. We have air filters, oils and lubricants, and hydraulic hoses. We provide services that include air filter cleaning, DPF cleaning, and waste oil collection. Come check us out at 1140 Ramada Drive, and we can help you with all your automotive and industrial vehicle needs.
Hi, this is Omid
and Deanna
at North County Junk Removal. We are a business known for helping our neighbors and our community.
Let us help you save money and get rid of any unwanted items.
And rest assured that our professional team adheres to global standards of safety and recycling. We are fully licensed and insured for your peace of mind.
We are locally owned and operated, and we look forward to helping you with all your junk removal needs.
Please call us at 805-769-6966.
Atascadero isn't your standard getaway. We're unique, just like you. We're growing, transforming, and figuring it out as we go. We're a town filled with innovators, artists, makers, and game changers. We're a little bit country, a little bit funky, and always authentic. We're here for your good times, your slow times, and your changing times. We are all in Atascadero. Come see for yourself. Learn more at visitatascadero.com.